They abandoned this starship until a human rebuilt it into the ultimate weapon. Its hull was long, jagged, and scarred, bearing the marks of countless battles. The once polished alien metal had dulled over centuries, and massive sections of its armor hung loose, threatening to tear away into the vacuum. The ship's name, etched in an alien script no human could read, glowed faintly in parts of the hull. But the galaxy had forgotten it. Its makers had abandoned it long ago, leaving it to float in the emptiness, alone and waiting. Captain Elias Kane piloted his small salvage vessel, the Pathfinder, through the dark sector. The sensors on his console flickered as he scanned the region. Space here was hostile, asteroid fields drifted unpredictably, and the faint radiation from dying stars made electronics unreliable. Yet Elias had heard rumors of ancient ships, untouched and full of treasures or secrets. Most humans avoided these sectors. They called them cursed. But Elias saw opportunity. Cursed or not, something this big is worth a fortune, he muttered to himself. His eyes focused on the enormous silhouette on the scanners. It was bigger than any station, bigger than any ship he had ever seen. His heart raced. Elias wasn't afraid, not completely. Fear was a tool. It sharpened instincts. The Pathfinder approached cautiously. The warship's size was overwhelming. Even from a kilometer away, its surface seemed alive with shadows and shapes that made it look almost organic. No one had touched it for decades, maybe centuries, and the systems, if any remained, were alien, unpredictable, and possibly dangerous. Elias activated the docking protocols on his vessel. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to explore, salvage, and maybe understand. Every time he'd taken on jobs like this before, human ingenuity had made the impossible possible. He intended the same now. The docking bay, enormous even by alien standards, opened with a groan that echoed through the hollow interior. Inside, debris floated in zero gravity, twisted metal, broken consoles, and what appeared to be the remains of alien equipment. Dust-like particles shimmered in the weak light from emergency panels still faintly glowing. Elias marveled at the scale. A human hand alone could not manipulate much of this ship, but with tools, patience, and brains, anything was possible. He moved carefully, activating his suit lights and scanning devices. The airlocks were dead, sealed tight for reasons unknown. But humans were nothing if not persistent. Elias bypassed the locks with a makeshift interface, connecting his portable systems to the alien panels. Sparks flew, but the locks gave way. The moment he stepped inside fully, the silence was deafening. He floated through corridors large enough to hold small buildings, the weight of centuries pressing down on him. In one enormous chamber, he found the remains of what must have been the ship's AI core. The alien technology was intricate, cables intertwined like veins, pulsing faintly with residual power. Most humans would have been overwhelmed by its complexity. Elias grinned. "Piece of cake," he said quietly, pulling out his toolkit. "Let's see what you're hiding." Days turned into nights, or at least, what passed for nights in the cold emptiness of space. Elias worked tirelessly, repairing broken circuits, replacing corroded wiring, and improvising where alien design made no sense to him. Every step required creativity. The aliens had built systems that were logical but rigid. They could not adapt. Humans, Elias thought, were different. They could invent, bend the rules, improvise. That was strength. Slowly, the ship began to respond. Lights flickered on. The hum of energy returned to dormant engines. Panels on the walls displayed strange alien glyphs that Elias could not read, but he felt a faint recognition, as if the ship itself was watching him, waiting to see what he would do next. One evening, after hours of rewiring a massive power relay, Elias felt a vibration in the floor. Not from his tools, but from the ship itself. He froze. The hum changed, subtle at first, then louder, more organized. Something was coming alive. What are you?" he whispered. The ship didn't answer in words, of course, but lights blinked in a pattern across the hull, almost like a heartbeat. He realized the ship was not just metal and circuits. It had memory, awareness, maybe even a will of its own, and it was curious about him. Elia's first attempts to communicate were simple. He touched panels, toggled switches, created signals that he hoped the AI could understand. At first, nothing happened. Then in one corridor a projection flickered into life, a ghostly image of a figure in alien armor staring at him silently. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, glowed faintly. Elia stepped back. "Relax, I'm not here to hurt you," he said. He wasn't sure if the ship understood, but the figure remained still, observing. It was a guardian of its own history, maybe, or a fragment of the alien consciousness trapped inside. Elias had no way to know. Working alongside the ship's AI, or whatever fragment of it remained, Elias began restoring core systems, engines, life support, navigation. Each success strengthened his confidence. He used human intuition to solve problems the alien logic could not predict. Where the alien design assumed patterns and rigidity, Elias applied creativity and flexibility. A human could adapt. A human could improvise. That was a kind of power no alien system could match. During one long session, he uncovered a chamber that had been hidden behind a massive bulkhead. Inside, he found a storage room filled with weapons, alien technology far beyond anything humans had ever developed. Missiles, energy projectors, shields that could refract even high-powered lasers. Elias' eyes widened. This could change everything," he whispered. He didn't just see tools, he saw potential. With careful modifications, he could make the ship faster, smarter, more versatile. He could turn it into something unimaginable. A weapon, yes, but also a protector. Something alive, capable of thinking and responsive in ways the original aliens never intended. But restoring the ship was not without danger. Some systems had defensive protocols that activated unexpectedly. Turrets swiveled as he passed, sending beams of light dangerously close. Power conduits sparked, and some sections of the ship's AI tried to resist his changes. Elias had to think like the aliens but act like a human. Each problem required patience, courage, and creativity, and each time he succeeded. One day, as he finished stabilizing the main reactor, the ship shuddered violently. Panels across the bridge flickered, and a low hum turned into a deep, resonating vibration. The ghostly projection of the alien captain appeared again, this time more distinct, observing him silently. Elias felt a chill. The ship was testing him, assessing him, judging him. "All right, old friend," he said, stepping closer to the control panel. "Let's see what you really can do." He initiated a full system scan, linking his human interface with the alien AI. The ship responded almost immediately, systems humming in a pattern that felt alive. Lights ran across the corridors in waves. Engines whispered with power and the weapons hummed faintly, ready to respond. Elias realized something incredible. He had awakened the ship, not just repaired it. A sense of pride filled him. Here, alone in the void, humans were proving something. Alien technology, no matter how advanced, had limits. Creativity, adaptability, and courage, qualities inherent to humans, could surpass even the most advanced systems. Elias was living proof. But he also knew danger was coming. Word of the abandoned ship might not have reached him alone. Other alien factions, scavengers, or worse, might be watching, waiting for an opportunity. The ship itself seemed to sense this, pulsing with energy, ready for anything. Elias had to prepare. He had to finish awakening the ship before anyone else arrived. And so, in the silent expanse of forgotten space, a human worked tirelessly. Day after day, he repaired, rewired, and modified. The ship grew stronger under his hands. Lights pulsed, engines thrummed, and alien defenses calibrated themselves to his commands. Elias was no longer just a pilot or engineer. He was the heart of the abandoned Colossus. By the end of Part 1, the ship was partially restored, alive and aware. Elias had proven that humans could adapt where aliens could not, improvise where logic failed, and bring life to what others had abandoned. But this was only the beginning. A storm was coming. Alien eyes were watching, and the galaxy would soon learn that a human had claimed a weapon no one thought possible. Elias stood on the bridge, looking out into the endless black of space. "This ship isn't just a relic," he said, voice echoing against the metal. "It's our future." And somewhere deep inside the colossal hull, the ship seemed to agree. The colossal ship floated in the darkness of space, silent but alive. Its massive hull gleamed faintly under the dim light of distant stars. Inside, the air was still except for the hum of revived systems. Captain Elias Kane moved confidently through the corridors, floating in zero gravity, tools in hand. Every panel he touched sparked to life, lights flickering along the walls as the ship responded to him. Elias had spent weeks repairing the ship's basic systems. Life support worked, engines hummed, navigation was functional, and the AI, though fractured, was starting to respond to human logic. Yet, he knew this was only the beginning. The aliens who built this ship had designed it to be unstoppable, but only if used by their kind. The systems were rigid, unable to adapt. That's where Elias, a human, had the advantage. Sitting at the massive alien bridge, he examined the weapon systems. Alien lasers, missile bays, energy projectors, all untouched, yet ready. He ran simulations using his small interface, blending human improvisation with alien technology. Patterns that seemed impossible before now appeared logical. He realized he could teach the ship to think in new ways, to respond faster, to anticipate threats. "This is more than a ship," Elias said quietly. "You and I, we can do what no one else can." The AI seemed to respond, faintly glowing in the panels, almost like curiosity. Elias laughed. "I don't know if you understand me, but we'll figure it out together." The first test, Elias decided to test the ship. He activated a navigation simulation, imagining a hostile fleet closing in. The ship responded immediately, adjusting shields, rerouting energy, and readying weapons in ways that the original alien design had never intended. Where an alien pilot might follow a strict pattern, Elias could think unpredictably, forcing the ship to adapt. "This is it," he murmured. "This is why humans are dangerous." He ran the test again and again, each time the ship improving. It learned from his commands, suggesting paths, maneuvers, and strategies that no alien could predict. It was exhilarating and terrifying. He held nothing back, knowing every calculation, every improvisation, gave him insight into how to make the ship even stronger. As he worked, Elias began exploring more of the ship. Hidden corridors led to storage bays filled with alien technology, shields, energy cores, drones, and even experimental weapons. Elias carefully integrated these systems into the ship, modifying them to human logic. Alien systems were precise but inflexible. Human intuition could bend them, improve them, and adapt them in ways their creators never imagined. Unseen eyes far across the sector, alien sensors flickered to life. Word of the abandoned warship had spread, carried by small monitoring drones that floated silently through space. Alien factions, longtime rivals, had noticed the disturbance. A massive fleet began moving toward the drifting ship. They had assumed it was empty. They were wrong. Elias didn't know yet. He continued to work, unaware of the approaching threat. He tested energy shields, improved the ship's propulsion, and rewired the alien AI to respond dynamically to unpredictable situations. It was exhausting work, but Elias thrived on challenges like this. He pushed the ship to its limits, integrating human ingenuity with alien technology in ways that no one had ever tried. When he finally paused to rest, the ship hummed around him like a living organism. He floated above the main deck, staring at the ghostly projections of the alien captain, who now seemed almost like a silent partner. "We're ready," Elias whispered. "But they're coming. I can feel it." The first attack had happened faster than Elias expected. Small alien drones appeared first, fast and precise. They scanned the ship, firing warning shots that grazed the hull. Elias had anticipated this. He activated the defensive systems, rerouting energy to shields and weapons simultaneously. The ship responded like a living thing, anticipating movements, predicting attacks, and striking back with accuracy. The drones were destroyed one by one, vaporized by energy beams before they could even complete a full circle around the hull. Elias felt a thrill. His work was paying off. Alien technology was formidable, but human creativity could outsmart it. Then came the fleet, massive, organized, and deadly. They expected the abandoned ship to be empty, unprepared. They were wrong. Elias engaged the ship fully, using every trick he had taught it. Shields bent, energy projected forward, engines darted unpredictably, and weapons fired in patterns that the aliens could not anticipate. One massive cruiser closed in, its weapons blazing. Elias had no choice but to act boldly. He combined the ship's alien systems in new ways, turning defensive barriers into offensive strikes, redirecting energy from shields to beams that could slice through the enemy hull. The cruiser exploded spectacularly, debris drifting into the void. Elias grinned. "They're learning fast," he said, eyes wide. "But not fast enough." Human ingenuity. The battle raged. Fleets of alien ships attacked, firing in strict patterns designed by their rigid logic. Elias, using the human advantage, anticipated the predictable. He modified the ship mid-battle, adjusting weapons, shields, and engines on the fly. Each human decision gave the ship an edge. Each improvisation turned the tide of the fight. Where alien AI relied on repetition, the human mind saw possibilities. Where alien commanders expected linear responses, Elias improvised. He used the ship's drones in unexpected ways, swarming enemy weapons ports, disabling shields, and creating openings for energy strikes. By the time the aliens realized what was happening, it was too late. Their formations were broken, their strategies failing. The human-engineered adaptations made the ship unpredictable, a force that could not be calculated by alien logic. The ship itself seemed to revel in this new way of fighting. Lights pulsed faster, engines hummed with energy, and weapon systems moved with a precision that was almost alive. Elias had done something no alien could do. He had taught the ship to think like a human, to anticipate, adapt, and improvise. As the battle ended, Elias floated in the bridge, exhausted but exhilarated. The last of the enemy ships had fled, leaving the colossal ship untouched, its systems glowing with life. Elias realized something profound. This was more than a machine. It had become a partner, a companion, almost a friend. "You and I, we make a good team," Elias said softly. The AI responded subtly, lights pulsing in acknowledgement. The ghostly projection of the alien captain appeared again, observing but no longer with menace. Elias had proven the worth of human creativity, courage, and ingenuity. For centuries, the ship had waited for someone capable of unlocking its potential. Aliens had built it, but only a human could adapt it, improvise with it, and bring it to life in ways they never imagined. Elias had done what no one else could, preparing for the next challenge. Even in victory, Elias knew the fight was far from over. The alien factions would not forget, and word of the ship would spread across the sector. They would return, larger and more prepared. But Elias felt ready. He and the ship had formed a bond, a combination of human intuition and alien technology that could not easily be countered. He spent the following days upgrading systems further. The engines were tuned for speed and agility beyond original specifications. Weapons were calibrated to fire with human unpredictability. The AI learned new patterns, adapted to novel situations, and responded faster than its original programming allowed. Elias also explored more of the ship, discovering hidden chambers, additional weapon bays, and alien archives. He began studying the alien battle strategies stored in the ship's memory, then modifying them to human tactics. He realized that humans could turn alien rigidity into strength, using creativity to overcome raw power. The ship itself seemed to grow more responsive, more aware, as if it recognized the human touch. Where aliens had expected obedience, Elias gave it freedom, freedom to adapt, innovate, and evolve. And in return, the ship gave him power that no single human or alien had ever wielded before. A glimpse of the future. As he floated above the main bridge, looking out into the void, Elias felt the weight of what he had accomplished. The ship was alive, more than a machine, and its power was unparalleled. The galaxy had left it behind, abandoned it, and in that neglect Elias had found an opportunity. He had taken what no one else could, improved it, and made it human in a way aliens had never imagined. But the galaxy was vast, and threats were endless. The aliens would return, more powerful than before. Yet Elias did not fear. He had proven that humans could adapt, improvise, and overcome challenges that logic alone could not solve. He had unlocked the human advantage, the ability to create, think, and innovate where others could not. "This is only the beginning," Elias whispered. "They think they've seen power, but they haven't seen what a human can do." And somewhere deep inside the colossal hull, the ship pulsed with energy, ready for the battles to come. Together, human and ship, they would face the galaxy and show that ingenuity, courage, and adaptability could turn the impossible into reality. The colossal ship floated in the void, alive and powerful. Its engines hummed with energy, casting faint glows across the empty corridors. Captain Elias Kane stood on the bridge, gripping the rail as he stared at the stars. After weeks of work, the ship was fully awake. Alien technology, once rigid and cold, now moved in harmony with human intuition. Every system was adapted, every weapon tuned, every shield reinforced. But the galaxy did not wait. Across the void, the alien fleet approached. Word of the abandoned warship had spread, and rival factions had gathered, determined to reclaim it or destroy it. Hundreds of ships, massive and armed with the latest alien technology, advanced in coordinated formations. They expected an easy victory. They had not counted on a human. Elias' eyes narrowed. "They think they can take it from us. They're about to learn the meaning of human creativity." The ship pulsed beneath his hands as if understanding. Elias had done more than repair it. He had taught it to think unpredictably, to adapt to new threats, to use its systems in ways no alien could. Together, they were ready. The first clash, the alien fleet attacked without warning. Energy beams streaked through space, missiles darted in arcs, and shields flared as strikes hit the ship. Elias didn't panic. He had prepared for this. "Activate adaptive mode," he commanded. The ship responded instantly. Shields shifted, engines darted in patterns that defied calculation, and weapons fired with precision. Alien lasers were redirected, beams reflected and absorbed, turning defenses into offense. The human's advantage was not brute force, it was creativity. Where alien fleets relied on repetition and logic, Elias improvised. He combined weapon systems in unexpected ways, using energy projectors to disable shields, missiles to create openings, and the ship's own mass to knock enemy vessels off course. Enemy ships exploded in spectacular bursts, debris scattering across the void. Elias felt a thrill. Alien fleets were strong but rigid, predictable. Humans were unpredictable. Every decision he made was a surprise they could not anticipate. Adaptation and innovation. The battle raged on. Hundreds of alien ships pressed their attack. Yet Elias had learned the most important lesson. Humans could adapt. The ship moved as he commanded, combining speed, firepower, and agility in ways the original alien designers had never intended. He reprogrammed drones mid-battle, sending them to disable engines, weapons, and communication systems on enemy cruisers. Shields were rerouted automatically, protecting weak points and exposing enemy vulnerabilities. Every move relied on human intuition, thinking outside the rigid patterns the aliens relied on. At one point, a massive enemy battleship broke through the outer defenses, its weapons ready to obliterate the hull. Elias had no time to react in a traditional way. Instead, he merged the ship's energy projection systems with its propulsion. The result was a devastating shockwave, blasting the battleship to pieces while keeping his own ship intact. "This is what humans do," he said aloud, smiling. "We improvise, we adapt, we win." Even the ghostly projection of the alien captain appeared, watching silently. Elias knew the old AI would never fully approve, but it had no choice now. The ship had chosen him as its partner. Together, they were unstoppable. The turning point. The alien commanders realized too late that their logic had failed. Their fleet, though larger and more advanced in theory, could not match unpredictability. Every attack Elias anticipated, every maneuver he improvised, broke formations and created chaos. Their best strategies crumbled under human ingenuity. Elias took the offensive. He activated a hidden array of experimental weapons he had discovered during his exploration of the ship. These were systems designed for alien tactics, long-range beams, energy spikes, and drones, but he modified them to human use. Now they fired in patterns no alien could predict, sweeping through the enemy fleet with devastating effect. Enemy ships were destroyed in waves. Shields overloaded, engines exploded, and command ships were disabled. Aliens had built technology to dominate, but they had never built it to think, to adapt, or to improvise. Humans had done what they never could: the human advantage. As the battle reached its climax, Elias realized the true power of human creativity. Strength, speed, and firepower mattered, but so did intuition, adaptability, and courage. The aliens had relied on design. Humans relied on imagination. He pushed the ship further. Combining energy projectors with the propulsion system, he created bursts of controlled chaos that shattered enemy formations. Weapons once meant for destruction now worked in tandem with shields, creating feedback loops that disabled entire cruisers in seconds. Drones swarmed unpredictably, disabling weapon systems, engines, and shields, leaving enemy ships vulnerable. Every movement was calculated but not predictable, an impossible combination for alien logic to counter. Elias' grin widened. "You built me a weapon," he said to the ship, "but I made you alive." The ship seemed to respond, engines pulsing, lights brightening across the massive corridors. Together, they were no longer just a warship. They were a force the galaxy had never seen. Victory and revelation. By the end of the engagement, the alien fleet lay in ruins. Only a few ships escaped, their commanders stunned and humiliated. Elias floated on the bridge, exhausted but triumphant. The colossal ship hummed around him, alive and responsive. He had not only defended it but transformed it into something far greater than its original design. "This ship, it's not just a weapon," Elias said quietly. "It's a partner, a living machine that can think, adapt, and fight alongside humans, something no alien could ever match." The ghostly alien captain flickered on the bridge one last time. No words were spoken, but Elias understood. The ship had acknowledged him, recognized the strength of human creativity, and accepted him as its pilot. For centuries, it had waited for someone capable. Humans, with their courage, adaptability, and ingenuity, had unlocked its true potential. Elias smiled. He had taken what others abandoned and turned it into the ultimate weapon, not through brute force but through human brilliance. The aftermath. With the alien fleet scattered, Elias took stock. The ship was fully functional, stronger than ever, and now alive in ways the galaxy had never seen. But he knew this was only the beginning. Across the stars, others would come. Factions, warlords, and alien empires would learn of the ship's resurrection. They would seek it, hoping to claim it. Elias did not fear them. He had learned something important. Humans were more than just fragile beings in a galaxy of giants. They could adapt, invent, and overcome. They could take what was abandoned, broken, or overlooked and turn it into something extraordinary. He spent the following days exploring the ship, integrating more alien technology, improving its systems, and preparing for future challenges. The AI, now fully responsive, worked alongside him as a partner, not a tool. Together, they formed a combination that no alien could predict, control, or defeat. A human legacy. Elias looked out from the massive observation deck, staring at the endless black of space. Stars flickered like distant fires. The ship, once abandoned, now pulsed with energy, alive and ready. "This is our beginning," he whispered. "We've shown the galaxy what humans can do." He remembered the days before he found the ship, the isolation, the risk, the doubt. Now he understood that humans were capable of greatness in ways even the most advanced aliens could never imagine. Creativity, courage, and adaptability were more powerful than any rigid design or ancient logic. The colossal ship had been abandoned, left to drift in the void, forgotten by its creators. But a human had come. A human had rebuilt it, breathed life into it, and unlocked its full potential. And in doing so, Elias had shown the galaxy the ultimate truth. Humans, when combined with ingenuity and courage, could turn the impossible into reality. Looking forward as he prepared to chart a course into unexplored regions of space, Elias felt a surge of anticipation. The galaxy was vast, full of threats, mysteries, and challenges, but he was ready. The ship was alive, powerful, and intelligent. Together they would explore, defend, and shape the galaxy in ways no one had imagined. Elias smiled. He had taken an abandoned weapon, something the galaxy had forgotten, and turned it into a living force. A human force. And no one, no alien, no fleet, no empire, would ever underestimate humanity again. Somewhere in the void, the colossal ship pulsed with life, engines humming, weapons ready, and systems alive with energy. And at its heart, a human captain stood proud, a symbol of what humans could achieve: courage, intelligence, and the power to change the universe. "This is just the beginning," Elias said softly. "The universe has no idea what's coming." And with that, the ship accelerated into the unknown, leaving the ruins of the alien fleet behind, a testament to human ingenuity, perseverance, and unmatched potential.